Most people don't think. They react. They assume. They absorb opinions like sponges and call it intelligence. But true thinking, real, disciplined, strategic thinking, is a skill. It's a weapon. It's a form of self-defense in a world that thrives on distraction and manipulation. This is critical thinking mastery. Your mind is the operating system of your life. If you let it run on autopilot, you become easy to mislead, easy to confuse, easy to control. But once you learn to think clearly, question everything, and separate truth from illusion, you become unstoppable. Today, we're breaking down the core principles of critical thinking mastery, a guide that teaches you how to think deliberately, not emotionally, logically, not reactively, and empowered, not blindly. Let's start with the fundamental problem. Most people think they're thinking, but they're not. Think about the last big decision you made. Was it truly based on logic, or was it driven by something else? For most of us, our choices are shaped by habit, by our hidden biases, by emotion, fear, social pressure, and a long list of unexamined assumptions. The book we're exploring today explains this perfectly. Our minds are built to take shortcuts. It's an evolutionary advantage that helps us process the world quickly, but those shortcuts create blind spots, and those blind spots lead to bad decisions, missed opportunities, and unnecessary stress. The journey to becoming a critical thinker starts with one powerful shift in perspective. Stop passively accepting information. Start actively interrogating it. This isn't about being cynical. It's about being discerning. It's about treating new information not as an absolute truth, but as a claim that needs to be verified. Before you let an idea take root in your mind, you must first put it on trial. So, how do we begin interrogating information? The foundation of critical thinking is built on asking better questions. The smartest people in any room aren't the ones with all the answers. They're the ones who ask the most insightful questions. The book distills this down to 4 essential questions you should ask every single time you encounter a new piece of information. First, what is the source? Who is telling me this? What is their expertise? And what is their potential agenda? Why should I believe them over someone else? Understanding the source is like checking the foundation of a house before you move in. Second, what assumptions am I making? This is a huge one. Most of our biggest mistakes are hidden in the assumptions we never bother to check. We assume someone is trustworthy. We assume a situation is safe. We assume our first idea is the best one. By asking this question, you force yourself to uncover those hidden, unproven beliefs that are secretly guiding your judgment. Third, what's the evidence? This is where you separate emotion from reality. Feelings are not facts. A strong gut feeling might be a useful signal, but it's not evidence. Look for concrete data, verifiable facts, and logical reasoning. If there is no solid evidence to support a claim, you should treat it with extreme skepticism. And fourth, what's the alternate explanation? If you only consider one possibility, you aren't really thinking. You're just hoping you're right. A true critical thinker explores multiple possibilities. Could there be another reason for this event? Is there a different way to interpret this data? Forcing your brain to consider alternatives breaks you out of tunnel vision and opens your mind to a more accurate picture of reality. Good questions cut through the fog of confusion and manipulation like a sharp knife. The book dedicates a significant portion to exposing the cognitive biases that trap your brain without your permission. These are the built-in glitches in our mental software. One of the most common is confirmation bias. This is our tendency to look for, favor, and recall information that confirms our existing beliefs. We read articles that agree with our politics. We listen to friends who share our opinions, and we dismiss any evidence that challenges what we already think is true. It feels good, but it keeps us in an echo chamber, preventing us from seeing the full picture. Then there's the halo effect. This happens when our positive impression of a person or brand in one area causes us to have a positive opinion of them in other areas. We might assume a successful actor must have brilliant political insights, or that a beautifully designed product must be high. The halo effect blinds us to flaws. Another powerful bias is the anchoring bias. This is our tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive. The first price you see for a car sets the anchor for the entire negotiation. The first statistic you hear in a news report frames how you interpret the rest of the story. Once an anchor is set, it's incredibly difficult to move away from it. even if it's completely arbitrary. And let's not forget the fear bias, or the availability heuristic. This is where our minds judge the likelihood of an event based on how easily we can recall examples of it, often vivid or scary ones. It's why people are often more afraid of a shark attack than a car accident, even though car accidents are thousands of times more common. The scarier something sounds, the more true it feels. Once you learn to see these biases in yourself and in others, everything changes. You don't eliminate them completely, they're part of being human, but you gain the ability to recognize them in real time. You can pause, identify the bias at play, and consciously correct for it. You stop reacting and start analyzing. You take control of the bias instead of letting it control you. This leads us to the core skill: logical thinking. Critical thinking isn't about being positive or negative. It's about being neutral. It's the ability to weigh information without the distortion of emotion. The book provides a practical toolkit for developing this skill. It teaches you how to break down complex problems into smaller, manageable parts, making them easier to solve. It shows you how to evaluate arguments based on their logical structure, not on whether you like the conclusion. You learn to meticulously separate facts-provable, verifiable statements from opinions, which are just beliefs or judgments. This one skill alone can revolutionize how you consume news and social media. You begin to identify manipulation in real time, recognizing when someone is using emotional language, logical fallacies, or deceptive framing to persuade you. Ultimately, you learn to make decisions like a strategist, carefully weighing probabilities and outcomes, rather than like a gambler, betting on hope and emotion. This is the point where your mind becomes your most powerful, tool-sharp, objective, and reliable. But there's one level beyond this. The concept the book presents as a true superpower. This simply means thinking about your thinking. It's the ability to step back and observe your own mental processes as they happen, almost like you're watching your own brain work from a distance. Metacognition is about asking yourself internal questions. Why did I have such a strong emotional reaction to that comment? Is this thought I'm having logical? Or is it just driven by my anxiety? Am I actually trying to solve this problem? Or am I just looking for a way to avoid it? Is this belief I hold so dearly really mine? Or is it just something I absorbed from my family or my culture without ever questioning it? This isn't about judging yourself. It's about building awareness. You can't fix a problem you can't see. By practicing metacognition, you start to see the patterns in your own thinking. You notice your go-to biases, your emotional triggers, and your mental shortcuts. This is how true mental clarity is built, not by forcing your thoughts into submission, but by developing a calm, detached awareness of them. So, how does this all come together in the real world? This isn't just an academic exercise. The book is laser-focused on application. It teaches you how to apply these critical thinking skills to every area of your life. Conversations, the news you read, your business strategies, your personal relationships, how you handle conflict, and how you persuade others. You learn to detect manipulation in a sales pitch or a political speech almost instantly. You learn how to avoid getting pulled into pointless, emotional arguments online and in person. You start making better long-term decisions about your career, your finances, and your health, because you're basing them on logic and evidence, not on fleeting impulses. You learn to communicate with incredible precision, saying exactly what you mean. And perhaps most importantly, you develop a keen ability to recognize the hidden motives and agendas in others, which protects you from being taken advantage of. Critical thinking isn't just a component of intelligence. It is a fundamental form of self-protection. In the end, it comes down to this. The mind you build determines the life you get. Your mind is your compass, your filter, your defense, and your weapon. If you do not consciously and deliberately train it, the world will happily train it for you to be distracted, to be reactive, and to be compliant. Master your thinking, and you master your life. This is critical thinking mastery. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive.